sort of leader are you? What sort of leader are you? Simon Sinek cites in his book, Leaders Eat Last, that leaders eat last. He asked General Flynn why the US Marine Corps was such a strong and such a unique corps. And General Flynn said this: the officers eat last. Now, this is just not a symbolic gesture, but rather it's deeply rooted into the Marine Corps and the culture of the Corps. So if you want to attract and you want to keep quality people, maybe you as a leader should eat last. Welcome everybody to JTInTheRaw show 140, coming to you live from this gorgeous place called Long Reef Golf Club. Good morning, Jono. Great to have you on board. Morning, Steve. Morning, Rick over there in New Zealand. Good morning, Susan. JTInTheRaw is your weekly show. Jason Lawrence, good morning. Your weekly show where I chew the thin on business, and I have just a few things to chew since I've been in business for just a number of years, let's say 30 of them. And today I am coming to you live from the Northern Suburbs Rugby Football Club's golf day down here at this gorgeous place called Long Reef, which is in Sydney on the beach. It is a cracking day. So, I'm going to share with you, before we get into the Leadership Eats Last session, education, I'm going to share with you 3 things you may not know about me. Number 1, I am on the board of Northern Suburbs Rugby Club. Yes, Jason Lawrence is coming to us from London. Morning, Jim Worthington. I tip my hat to you, Jim Worthington Lance. Great having you on board. 3 things about me. Number 1 is I'm on the board for our rugby club here in Sydney. And it's fascinating that finally, after nearly 10 years, I have found my niche and I actually feel I'm adding value to the board as their communications manager and membership manager. It's awesome. So today, down here at the golf day, I'm taking photos and posting them, doing lives, all that sort of stuff to create engagement for our rugby club. Number 2 is I coach my daughter's netball team. And number 3 is I have no tattoos. No tattoos. So the question of the day, in the comments below, tell me something about you that I don't know. Tell me something about you that I do not know. Put that in the comments. Let's see if I get to know you a little bit better today during the show. At any stage, pop that in there. Morning, Stephen. Great having so many people on board. It's gorgeous, gorgeous day. All right. Normally in JTInTheRaw, I have a number of shout outs. Today, I have just one shout out. And today's shout out comes after yesterday spending some time with some PTs, some managers, department leaders and business owners. Morning, Matty Fletcher. And my special shout out today goes to one of the guys there called Anthony. Now, Anthony's been working in the same industry for 13 years. 13 years he's been in the same industry. Now, whatever industry he is in is completely irrelevant. What is important in this shout out is his maturity, his conviction, his strength, and his courage. Let me say that again. The reason I'm giving him a shout out is maturity, his conviction, his courage, and his strength. You see, Anthony was a self-employed person, but he couldn't work out why he wasn't getting ahead in business. He couldn't work out why he was not getting his head above the water. He just was working his little ass off. And he thought, this is going to pass. He thought this will pass. Unfortunately, his bank account and his emotional bank account were not flushed. It didn't pass. And a simple evaluation of his strengths within his business was that he was weak in marketing. Now, this to me is a critical component of any successful business, small or large. Marketing is critical because it generates you the leads to make the sales to grow the business. Okay, so what happens next? Well, he decided he's never going to grow because he doesn't have the leads and he doesn't like doing marketing. So here's what he did. And this is his credit, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I'm shouting out to Anthony, and this is why I'm shouting out to so many people in so many industries that are self-employed. To his credit, he left his ego at the door. Let me do that again. He left his ego at the door. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. He left his ego at the door. And he took his skills to an employer. He took his skills to an employer. He went and got a job where he could use his strengths to grow a brand whilst not suffering emotional stress. Good morning, Dory. Good morning, Nicole. Great having you guys on board. Dory, how's the weather over there? The result for Anthony was that he was earning a similar amount of cash. His income was pretty much the same. But he was now part of a team. He was leading a team. He had great leadership skills. So he's part of a team. He was doing what he loved. He was now spending quality time with his family, and personally, he was in a much happier place. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony is a great example for many of us who are entrepreneurs. Many of us who are entrepreneurs who just simply chase our tail chasing money because we lack a simple skill. And I love what Anthony said. I left my ego at the door. I worked out my strengths. I worked out my weaknesses. So what I did was I went to where I could use my strengths. Ladies and gentlemen, I tip my hat to Anthony. I really do. That's a big shout out to you, mate. I am so impressed after our chat yesterday. You are a leading light and a great example for your team, but so many other people out there. Thank you for sharing your story with me yesterday, Anthony, and I hope people that are watching today also can get a lesson from you. Frosty, I love that emoji. Dory, I am great. How are you? All right, remember, question of the day is pop something in the comments that I don't know about you. Love to know what they are. If you love that story about Anthony too, give me a love heart. Hit me up with a love heart right now. All right, so let's talk about this concept of leadership. And I've been wanting to talk about leadership for a while, and I've been wanting to talk about Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. It's a great book, great concept, and I highly recommend it. If you would like a link to grab this book, just put leaders in the comment below, leaders in the comment below. I'll send you the link so that you can grab this book. But this week at my wife's work, so Robin's at work, there was a lunch where the hospital just wanted to say thank you to all the staff. They just wanted to say thank you for all the staff and the hard work that they do. Now, instantly when she told me that, I thought, now that's pretty cool. That is awesome. Jess, I'll put the link in for you. Susan, I'll put the link in for you. If you want the book, Leaders Eat Last, leaders in the comments below. And I thought that was a really cool thing because a lot of businesses say thanks to their staff once a year at a Christmas party. That's it, once a year, thank you. Or we might say thanks on the run, but to actually have an event outside of a Christmas party where we put on a free lunch, I thought that was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. Stephen, I'll put the link in for you too. Now, Robin said it was a beautiful lunch. It wasn't one of those cheapo, stale, sandwich, mustard, roast beef, relish, sambos. It was actually a beautiful lunch. Another plus. So far, from the employee's perspective, they've got 2 brownie points from every single employee. A free lunch and a good quality lunch. Free lunch, good quality lunch. Love it already. But here is where the discussion between the staff got personal. Let me share with you what happened next. The staff, while sitting around eating, noticed and then spoke about after the lunch that the hospital CEO, the person in charge of the hospital, served the food. She also ate last. Everybody else had eaten, she ate last. She also finished first, so she scoffed that meal down or she didn't eat a lot. And then she walked around and she picked up all the paper plates from the staff and tidied up. So, the staff are not now talking about having a free lunch. The staff are now not talking about the quality of lunch, but rather the staff are now talking about what the CEO did. Now, if you love that concept, give me a love heart right now, because I thought it was amazing and great leadership from the CEO. Hit me up with a love heart if you agree with me there. Right, now that reminded me of the Simon Sinek book, Leaders Eat Last. Remember, if you want a link to grab that book, put leaders in the comments below and I'll send you the link. JP Richard, good morning, wherever in the United States or California you are. Eugene, thanks for those love hearts. So what Sinek says, I was watching an interview with him, and what he says is this: there are no longer leaders or good leaders or even great leaders. What he says is you're a real leader or you are not a leader. Now that's fascinating. That is fascinating evolution of leadership from Sinek's perspective. There is no longer good leaders, there is no longer great leaders. You're either a real leader or you're not a leader. And I found that fascinating to hear in this interview. And this CEO is a classic real leader. Now, in the entrepreneurial world that many of you watching live in, like me, we live in an entrepreneurial world. We're often told, pay ourselves first. In the corporate world, we are often told it's survival of the fittest as we climb that corporate ladder. We kick the shit out of the people below us in order to get up that ladder. But what Sinek says is when we put people first, the dynamics of our organisation change. Whether that be a sporting team, whether that be a department, or whether that be a complete business. When we put people first, the dynamics of the organisation change. Do you love that? Give me a love heart right now if you love that statement from Sinek. In the interview that I was watching yesterday with Sinek, this is what he says. He talks about the horrific, the tragic, the disgusting act of terrorism that occurred in a Nairobi hotel in January this year. Unfortunately, 21 people there were killed. But what he describes is not necessarily that tragedy. What he describes is a photo that was taken inside that hotel. And that photo showed a mother laying on top of her child. All we can see is the child's face. We don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. We assume it is her daughter or her son. But this mother is laying over the top of this child. There are bullets spraying everywhere, all over this place, and she is protecting this child. He says that is true leadership. He says that as a leader, we are prepared to face danger to protect our people. He says a real leader will put themselves in danger rather than having an impact on the people. You see, leaders eat last simply means if there is only food for one person, there is only enough water for one person, that a real leader will give that to their people, meaning that their people may live when they may not. So in his book, he talks about leaders eating last, not just as symbolism, but as a true fact when it comes to leading people. And what the CEO did of the hospital that Robin works at symbolises her leadership. I would bet that CEO would do a similar act as that lady did in the Nairobi hotel. That CEO would lay down on a child to protect that child. My question is, would you? Would I? Would you? Now, I reckon many of you would say, yeah, I sure would, JT. But really, would you? When the pressure is on, would you? More importantly, do your people believe that you would? At that hospital now, there is a whole bunch of staff that believe that that CEO is a leader who would eat last. That they believe she is a leader that will protect the people, that will stand up for the people. My question is, do your people believe that because of the actions that you do every single day? So that becomes the next thought. What could you do in the next 7 days to show your people that you are a leader who would eat last? Tell me in the comments, commit, show your team, reap the benefits, whether you're watching live or on replay. Good morning, Brendan. Good morning, Connie. Great having you guys on board. Whether you're watching live or on replay, tell me right now, what are some actions that you can do to show your team that you would eat last, that you would put them first, that you would protect them, stand by them, and lead them? Now, you might need to go away and think about this, and that's okay. What I want you to do is come back to this show, and I want you to put in the comments later today, tomorrow, sometime in the next week. I want to know, I want you to commit to doing some actions to lead by example, to show your team what you would do as a leader. You see, it's all very well to have these ideas, but ideas need to turn into actions. And the actions are the thing that's going to make you a real leader. It's not the ideas, it's the actions that make you a real leader. So, in a world that we live in now, where quality team members are as rare as hen's teeth. Steve, I will send you the link to this the Leaders Eat Last book, I promise. Morning, Troy. So in a world where quality team members are as rare as hen's teeth, you can become a real leader who is also, these days, as rare as hen's teeth. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Who's up for this challenge? Give me a love heart if in the next 7 days you are prepared to show that you're a real leader. If you are prepared to eat last, give me a love heart, regardless of whatever industry you're in, whatever business you're in. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you, Susan, for committing with those love hearts. Thanks, Jody, for that as well. I appreciate that. Please, ladies and gentlemen, actions speak louder than ideas. So get to work on creating those actions. That's it. Now, if you know anyone that you think could benefit from understanding that leaders eat last, please put their name in the comments, tag them in the comments so that they can watch this video in their own time, and then you can coach them on how to be better leaders. Please, I'd be very grateful if you tag anybody. What's happening next week for me? What is happening next week? Well, I'll be preparing for Philex, which is the fitness industry's largest convention here in Australia. I got 3 presentations, so if you haven't yet booked to get, you can still get a registration to Philex. Go to philex.com.au. So I'm looking forward to doing those presentations in a couple of weeks. Next Friday, I actually have the Personal Trainers Industry Leaders Roundtable. We're going to be in Wollongong. So that's next Friday. I'll be coming to you live from another fantastic beach here in Australia. So I'll be sharing some insights there around my week. This week, I've also got, thanks for everybody this week on the love that you guys gave me on my Facebook feed. It's about my Energizer call. So this week I had my first Energizer call ever with somebody, but as a result I got 2 more. So an Energizer call is a 45-minute call that I have with you, and it's your opportunity to bounce some ideas, give me some thoughts, give me some ideas, and I am there for you, just to give you that Energizer injection. So thank you for that love, and thank you for the people that contacted me after that post. So I have 2 people that I'm going to be calling this week to give them a JT Energizer injection. If you're interested, put Energizer in the comments below. You can spell it any way you like. I'll send you the link, and you could be one of the people that I have a call with in the next week as well. Also, big news is we are updating 13 ebooks. We have 13 ebooks in the fitness industry. So we're updating those over the next week to 2 weeks. They will then be online available for you to grab. That is what I'm up to this week. What are you up to this week? Tell me in the comments below. Love to know. Susan, you are wrong. It is not quote of the week. Got some thinking action items from this. Thanks, JT. Awesome, Eugene. All right, quote of the week. I know you're all hanging out for this. Remember, this is gorgeous. This is what Australia is all about. We are lucky to live here. Quote of the week. To attract and keep quality people, start eating last. That's my quote of the week. To attract and keep quality people, start eating last. This show has been brought to you by Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. If you want a link to be able to grab that book, put leaders in the comments below. Let's finish one more time with the quote. Remember, if you know anybody that could benefit from the show, tag them in the comments below. That's my last plug. Let's finish with quote of the week. To attract and keep quality people, start eating last. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been tuned into JT in the Raw, show 140. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the flip side.